Grant Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Great to have you with us. Thanks for being here. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Got a big full show again today.
How you feeling?
Oh.
Yeah? That good?
Oh.
All right.
Yeah. Perfect. Practically perfect.
Practically perfect?
Yeah. Just about.
Huh.
Not quite perfection, but right on the verge.
Oh, good.
Total perfection, yeah.
Okay.
For those who don't know, I spent most of the weekend in emergency rooms with a really wonderful kidney stone situation. And so came in yesterday, and it started building, but my pain medication worked. I at 7 o'clock yesterday, halfway through the show, I was about, okay, I'm going to have to leave. Let you guys take over. But I didn't. So, modern technology. Thank goodness for it. 888-900-3393. Wow, did you see that BLM approval is, it's off a little bit from its peak last year.
Oh.
Yeah.
What happened?
But only 92%. It's down 92%. Their approval rating is now 2%.
Wait a minute. What?
2%.
Wait, so hold on. I don't know what's more shocking, that it's only 2% at this point, or that it was as high as 94?
Yeah, it was huge at the beginning last year. Yeah, you don't remember that?
Gosh.
Oh, gigantic. Yeah, so the movement was highly favorable among Americans last year. So, but now, not so much.
Wow.
Staggeringly low, 2%, a 92% drop.
That's a more dramatic drop than Dogecoin.
Did Dogecoin go down?
I was up to 74 cents.
And what is it now?
It fell down to the upper teens. Now it's at 35 cents this morning. But BLM, my gosh, I'm dare I say I'm proud of Americans for getting it on something?
I know.
Wow.
Really amazing. But, what do you expect when these people, not only are they, what is it? It's
are trained Marxists.
Trained Marxists.
Are trained Marxists.
And, maybe that wouldn't even move Americans at this point. Some wouldn't be moved by that. They'd be fine with that. But when you start affecting their traffic situation, when you start getting into the middle of intersections and inconveniencing people and showing what douchebags you are, then, people are going to get a little irritated, and they're not going to support your cause. I've never understood hey, let's go out of our way to make life miserable for others, and then they'll support our group.
Seriously, has anyone ever seen any protest group whatsoever blocking traffic and slowing you down from where you're trying to get?
And you liked it?
And you're like, man, you know what?
I'm on their side now.
I'm going to support that group now.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of the world.
Seriously. Did BLM learn from the PETA marketing team on how to not win friends and influence people?
Apparently not. Apparently not. So I think it's great, though.
It's awesome.
It's fantastic.
Keep it going.
People are realizing what's going on.
2% support now
2
for BLM.
A whopping 2, according to this survey.
I love it.
Do you see that Taco Bell is going to have a new high-tech drive-thru? This is kind of cool. Do we have the photo? Look at that. So the restaurant is above the drive-thru, and you drive in underneath the restaurant to the drive-thru location.
Wow.
And then there's some kind of innovative way that they send you the food, and it's supposed to be super fast. And that's really cool.
Okay.
I think Minnesota gets the first one in about a year. So these aren't available everywhere. But Taco Bell, you got to hand it to them. Delicious. And pretty innovative there. Pretty innovative.
And nutritious, right?
Yes, and very nutritious.
That's what I hear.
Actually really, really good for you. Yeah, it's the healthiest food you could possibly eat. I'm pretty sure.
It's kind of a low-key health food.
I mean, don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure it's true.
We're pretty sure.
Maybe Afghanistan will be getting some Taco Bell locations now after, the Taliban has taken back over. By the way, speaking of the American people not approving of you, most Americans do not approve. 69.3%. Almost 70% of Americans disapprove of Biden's efforts in Afghanistan.
Yeah. Most Democrats don't approve either.
Right. He's upside down even with the Democrats.
That's amazing.
48.2% of Democrats disagree with what he's doing there, don't approve. 37% strongly disapprove of his handling. These are Democrats. Among Republicans, it's 88.8, so 89% disapprove. 80% strongly disapprove with his handling. I mean, he's been terrible on everything. But the good thing is here that the American people are seeing it and they're understanding it and they're realizing what's going on, that he's an absolute buffoon.
Yeah, and to your point of how he's handling it, he apparently called... so in Texas, you've got the mask mandate situation that Abbott said, no mask for schools, right? And then you got different locales like Dallas and Austin that said, yes, mask for schools. Then the Supreme Court in Texas said, no mask for schools. We're with Abbott. And Dallas says, screw you, we're still going to force the kids to wear masks. So while Afghanistan is collapsing, Joe Biden is calling the superintendent of Dallas schools saying, good job, way to force kids into masks. That's how he's handling Afghanistan, by taking his time to call a local school district and praise them for forcing kids into masks. The man is ridiculous.
Wow. He said there was never going to be a good time to withdraw from Afghanistan.
He spoke yesterday. Oh, this is good.
He actually did. Here's some of what he said.
I stand squarely behind my decision. After 20 years, I've learned the hard way that there was never a good time to withdraw U.S. forces. That's why we're still there. We were clear-eyed about the risks. We planned for every contingency, but I always promised the American people that I would be straight with you.
Look at him.
The truth is, this did unfold more quickly than we had anticipated.
Oh, really?
He is just reading words, man. The entire speech. He's just staring past the camera. What's the teleprompter say? He doesn't know what he's saying. Yeah.
And when do I get my pudding? He also said the buck stops with him.
I'm now the fourth American president to preside over war in Afghanistan. 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans.
Yeah.
I will not pass this responsibility on to a 5th president. I will not mislead the American people by claiming that just a little more time in Afghanistan will make all the difference. Nor will I shrink from my share of responsibility for where we are today.
Oh.
And how we must move forward from here. I am president of the United States of America. And the buck stops with me.
The buck stops with him. But in that same speech, of course, he
blamed Trump.
Well, he blamed Afghan army and all that stuff. And he's been blaming Trump. But the buck stops with him.
Sure.
So.
Sure.
It's... Is anyone disagreeing that we should get out of Afghanistan at one point or another?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I don't think that's the issue.
And we've talked about it many times.
Right. And to blame Trump, and Trump's plan, because I was doing some reading yesterday, Trump's plan was to hand over regions of the country one at a time. And when they demonstrated, yep, we got it, and then we eventually pull out. Biden just picked a day on the calendar and said, let's go. Who cares? Let's go. I mean, that's what the issue is. And boy, have we left good people high and dry. Oh, it's just tragic what is already happening in that country.
Well, anybody who helped us they're going to be executed.
Yeah, there's 80-something thousand people on a list that helped the Americans. And Taliban's already going door to door saying that we'll be back. We'll be back. Now, they're also saying that we're going to extend amnesty. Yeah. Don't make deals with terrorists. I don't think that that's going to happen. Yeah, and people are rightfully angry the way we have. I mean, this looks so bad for our country, Pat.
How can our allies ever trust us again? How can you look Taiwan in the face?
Yeah,
and say, yeah, we're going to be there for you. We will be there when if and when China ever attacks you, we'll be there.
Yeah, they're next. This is going to happen.
And China just warned them. They said, look, this kind of proves that the United States is not going to be there for you guys. So, yeah, they've already informed Taiwan of just that.
Yes.
So
that speech yesterday, I watched the post game on CNN, and I was amazed. They had a panel. They had 8 talking heads up there, and he did not get good marks, and I was surprised.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And in fact,
how about that?
What did Jake Tapper say? Hold on a second. Oh, crap. I thought I printed it up. Jake Tapper made a point. Anyway, just basically how the buck is obviously not stopping with him as he continues to blame everyone but himself for this. It was amazing. Now, MSNBC had the exact opposite approach. They were the sycophants for Joe Biden. They were sitting there saying it was a great speech. How awesome is Joe Biden? They had a guest on. I don't know if you want to play. It's 4 minutes long. But if you're interested in that.
On MSNBC?
Yeah, Brian Williams had a guy on there. Take a look at this. He represents a group that's trying to get the good guys out of Afghanistan, and he's been trying for quite a while.
We want to bring into the conversation Matt Zeller, former first lieutenant during the war in Afghanistan, former combat advisor with Afghan security forces, co-founder of No One Left Behind, a veterans organization that offers services to former Afghan and Iraqi interpreters who resettle here in the United States. Mr. Zeller, it's almost ironic now to state the name of the organization you founded, given what we're watching go on, though I'm curious to hear your reaction of this consequential speech by the American president. Didn't run from it. He owned it. He owned his decision. He owned the fact that, as he put it, the buck stops with him.
I hope he gets to own their deaths, too. I feel like I watched a different speech than the rest of you guys. I was appalled. There was such a profound, bold-faced lie in that speech. The idea that we planned for every contingency. I have been personally trying to tell this administration since it took office. I've been trying to tell our government for years that this was coming. We sent them plan after plan on how to evacuate these people. Nobody listened to us. They didn't plan for the evacuation of our Afghan wartime allies. They're trying to conduct it now at the 11th hour. The thing that they were most concerned about was the optics of a chaotic evacuation. Well, they got exactly what they were most concerned of by failing to do what was right when we could have done it. We had all the people and equipment in place to be able to save these people months ago, and we did nothing. I'm appalled that he thinks we only need to take 2,000 people. There's 86,000 people who are currently left behind in Afghanistan alone. We've identified all of them for the government. I have no idea why he claims that people don't want to leave Afghanistan. I have a list of 14,000 names right now of people who want to get out of Afghanistan. And the idea that the Afghan military should be blamed for this, do you know how many casualties the Afghan military took in an average year? More than the United States did in 20. When you're not getting paid on a regular basis, when you're not getting fuel, when no one is supplying you with ammunition, and yet you're still showing up to the fight, how dare us for having to blame these people for not having the audacity to be able to survive a Taliban onslaught? No. What we need to be doing right now, and what I am appalled that the president didn't say, was we need to be talking about how we're going to get every single one of these people out. Because let's be abundantly clear. People like me looked these people in the eye and made them a promise. We promised them that in their time of need, we would take care of them. How do you ever expect anyone to ever trust us again if we don't do that now while we can? Yep. And I'm sick and tired of trying to defer to the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan on what we're going to do. We're the United States of America. They're terrified of us. I have Afghans on the ground right now who are telling me they're going door to door in Kabul and they're making lists of people who used to work with us. They're telling them with smiles on their face, evil smiles, that they're going to be back from them once we leave. So we either take them now or these people are going to die. I've been trying to tell anyone who will listen. This is a never again moment in the making. This is an administration that seems to be a profound champion and defender of human rights.
Oh, please.
Well, sometimes human rights have to be defended at the barrel end of a gun. The Taliban are a modern version of the Nazis. And if this was Dresden, do you think if this was Dunkirk, do you think British yachting pilots, the British captains that were sailing their boats heroically into Dunkirk. Do you think they were asking on the beaches if the people they were picking up were Brits or French, or do you think they were just trying to get people away from the Nazis? Every Afghan we leave behind is going to be left behind to a horrible existence. And if we don't take them now while we can, that is as much on us as it is on the Taliban, who will hang or behead them.
Jeez. Pretty passionate about that. Certainly more passionate than Joe Biden is, more caring, and he's supposed to be so empathetic. He's supposed to be so sincere and caring. Really? He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the Afghans left behind. I kind of fell into the, these Afghans can't even defend themselves trap as well. He seems to think that that's unfair. And that's interesting because I don't really know the situation on the ground for the Afghan army. I honestly don't. I figured, though, that we'd been training them for 20 years and supplying them with weapons for 20 years. Maybe they'd be able to hold up more than a few days. But he didn't seem to think that was an issue. So who knows? It's just despicable, this whole situation. It doesn't have to be happening like this.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Taliban's official spokesperson, they have a Twitter account.
Yeah. The president of the United States, former president of the United States, doesn't.
Right.
Permanently banned from Twitter. But the Taliban spokesman is on Twitter.
Yeah. Good stuff. Right?
Oh my God. How does Jack Dorsey live with himself? How does he look himself in the mirror and think, yeah, I'm doing a damn good job?
Yeah, right. And sure, maybe the Taliban is on the streets of Kabul chanting death to America, Pat, but I mean, they're nice about it at least, right?
Yeah.
We got that video.
They're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. It's utterly bizarre.
At the president.
They seem friendly at the same time.
Death to America! Oh, hope you have a nice day, reporter lady.
They're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. It's utterly bizarre.
Yeah, it sure is.
That is
she
a
got
nice.
that part right.
What's her name? Clarissa Award. What was it? She's got a nice little outfit on there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see the compare. Oh, look at there. There's Sunday in Kabul. Clarissa Award. And then there is Monday in Kabul. Clarissa
What
Award.
changed?
What has changed?
The friendly people came into power, and so she thought, well, they're so friendly. I'm going to dress like I'm under Sharia law.
Now she's wrapped head to toe.
That is unbelievable.
That's good stuff.
Well, they're shouting death to America, but
in a friendly way.
In a friendly way. I think they're really, they want to politely kill us. That's all. They want to politely kill the people we left behind that helped us.
In other words, they're urging your death, but with a smile on their face, so it makes it better.
Yeah, and maybe they'll say, I'm sorry, after they behead us. I don't know. We'll see. I doubt it. I actually do doubt that they'll be apologizing for beheading the people that they wind up beheading. What a weird world. CNN, they never cease to amaze how pathetic they are. Wow. And now this 20-year mission has been overturned, seems like in a day, but it's been about a week altogether. Literally 20 years in Afghanistan, overturned in a week. Crazy. Just absolutely amazing. And again, all the people that we gave assurances to, hey, we're going to be there for you in the end, so don't worry about it. We need your help. We'll be there for you when the time comes. We'll make sure we get you to safety. Bye-bye. Not even so much as a bye-bye to all of those people. Wow. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. The State Department. I love this story. State Department is calling for the Taliban to include women in their government.
What?
Isn't that great?
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
It's a joke, right?
No.
Babylon B reached out and made this. And
Incredibly, it is not a joke. Despite the Taliban's long history of oppression of women and iron-fisted rule, U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price yesterday urged Afghanistan's new leaders to form an inclusive government that had women in it. Okay.
Are they on crack?
No, because they know that the Taliban is concerned about their international, their reputation internationally.
Yeah.
What was it that Jen Psaki told us?
Oh, it was Nancy Pelosi, right? And she said, and Jen Psaki.
No, it's Jen
Yeah, they
Psaki.
both said, the world's watching.
The Taliban also has to make an assessment about what they want their role to be in the international community.
Right. They got to make an assessment. What kind of role? So you better include women and gays and transgender people. And you better go by what pronoun they want to be called. Because the international community is watching you. You have to make an assessment.
What a joke.
It's like they're children or something. It's like they don't understand the world in any way. Price cited a UN declaration calling for an immediate cessation of all hostilities and the establishment through inclusive negotiations of a new government that's united, inclusive, and representative, including with the full, equal, and meaningful participation of women.
That's our State Department?
Yeah.
Lay off the crack, y'all. Come on. Stop. I mean, even the United Nations themselves have said, just a heads up, the Taliban, who has just taken over Afghanistan, they're still closely aligned with Al-Qaeda. Just thought we would mention that. So the United Nations is warning us more than our own State Department? Help us.
This is how woke they are. Price said that the U.S. government would recognize a potential new government of Afghanistan so long as that government upholds rights, doesn't harbor terrorists, and protects the rights of women and girls. He didn't say how the Taliban could convince the U.S. government that it's reformed itself in this way. He argued that even though the U.S. military would withdraw from Afghanistan, American forces achieved the goal of the operation: to decimate the network and that conceived of and launched the September 11th attacks. He said the U.S. forces would still have over-the-horizon capabilities to fight terrorism in the war in when the war in Afghanistan ends, which I think it kind of already has it not? Price claimed that it was clear the government of Afghanistan would not have endured 20 years were it not for the broad and generous support of the United States and the world. I'm thinking that's probably small consolation for him right now. State Department spokesman acknowledged the emotional resonance of the footage of Afghans rushing to get onto planes as they fly away from Kabul. So much so that they were hanging on to the outside of the airplane after it took off. And then, of course, fell. They are searing. They are painful. They're difficult to see. They're difficult to watch. We share a common humanity with these Afghans whose desperation, whose fear, whose concern, they wear it on their faces. U.S. government's working to bring as many vulnerable Afghans to safety as it can. Okay. All this empty rhetoric. It's got to be painful for them to hear.
Yeah, there's a reporter for Al Jazeera English. Say what you will about Al Jazeera, but Charlotte Bellis has been reporting lots of stuff. And I'd imagine that they leave her alone because she is Al Jazeera. But she just tweeted out, "Return to my hotel to find hotel security has been replaced by Taliban members with AKs. They had parked their U.S.-made Humvees outside. Said good evening. They looked startled. And I walked into the lobby and ordered room service. Welcome to the new Kabul." So we have...
They've already started using our Humvees that we left there for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's...
Hey, by the way, don't bother going to a dealership or anything. We left you a whole bunch of really nice Humvees that you just take. Keys are in it. They're on the visor.
How many miles does this got on it? Desert miles?
Yeah, these were only driven by grandmothers.
On Sundays?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Humvees driven by grandmothers on Sundays.
No, Fridays. On Fridays on their way to mosque. Yeah. On Fridays on their way to mosque.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So there's hardly anywhere in terror.
It's got that new Humvee scent still in it.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
You're going to like that.
Boy, how armed is the Taliban now?
Oh, my gosh.
What was the thing we read? That they have a greater military capability on just seized American weapons and weapons and equipment than 166 other nations on this planet? How many nations are there on this planet?
I think it's 192 or 197, somewhere in that range.
What? 195? So literally, they're just the top 30 now in the power rankings, just based on what we left behind militarily for the Taliban.
That's absolutely
Help
incredible,
us.
isn't it?
This is not going to end well.
That's incredible.
What's the shoe that's going to drop? Like, is there going to be another 9/11? God forbid that. Yeah. But they are more armed now than they were 20 years ago, and that's for sure.
Well, I don't think there's any question of that.
Well, I'm saying they pulled off a 9/11 without the military equipment that we took over there and left, and my goodness.
Right.
This is sad stuff, dude.
It really is inconceivable.
You keep using the word.
I know.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
I mean, where do you go with this?
Scary.
You can't even, there are not words in the English language to describe what's going on right now.
It's terrifying to think that our State Department isn't issuing press releases about the threat from this new power regime in Afghanistan. Instead, they're saying, yo, let's get some women and some diversity in the Taliban cabinet. Yeah. What the hell? What is happening?
Get some women in the... It's not even that you're... I mean, we're going to support them and recognize them if they're inclusive, if they tell us they're inclusive. Yeah, we put all kinds of diversity into our government. Oh, okay. Well, then we'll recognize you. I mean, how are we supposed to vet that? That's asinine. It's just the lunacy of these people, the naivety. They're just, or is it just sheer butt stupidity? I probably a combination, because I've never seen anything like it. It really is like we're dealing with children in office who just don't have any understanding of the world. Well, are you going to put some homosexuals in your government? Are you going to have a lot of trans people, trans women?
Sure, whatever. Just get out. Go away.
I don't know.
We'll take care of it.
Jeez. Now,
terrifying.
Are you going to call them by their preferred pronouns
when
they're in government?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I hope.
That's a great question.
Yeah, it is.
Taliban, you up for this? Can you handle this?
You're going to use their proper pronouns, right?
Them will die.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I use the pronoun. I mean,
that's the kind of stuff they're worried about, though. The left is worried about here. While that's going on over there, the kind of stuff we're worried about is what kind of pronouns are you going to use? And if you don't use the right ones, you might even be arrested. It's just absolutely asinine.
It is terrifying.
And terrifying.
What we have.
What we've become.
Not only what we've become, but just our place in the world now. I mean, this is a really big deal as far as just how we are viewed in the world.
Yeah. And again, China said U.S. humiliation in Afghanistan should be a warning sign to Taiwan and other U.S. allies in the region that the American military, quote, won't come to help, unquote, if war breaks out in the future. How do you argue with that? You just really can't. Because actions speak louder than words and the paper treaties that aren't worth the paper they're printed on. As Taliban militants reclaim control of war-torn Afghanistan, China is stepping up to fill in the power vacuum. And you bet they're going to. I mean, of course they're going to. They're already in touch with the Taliban leadership.
Yeah.
Already trying to stick themselves into Afghanistan.
Quote, China is ready for friendly relations with Taliban.
Oh, I bet they are. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Welcome. 888-900-3393. Got some tweets here from Vern Lundquist. Minnesota gets the first fancy Taco Bell. I give it a month before it's burned to the ground peacefully.
Yep.
B to Bodine. 2% support BLM. That's still about 1.9999999% too much. Rowdy introvert. Things are so bad in this country right now that both the living and the dead are regretting their votes for Biden. It's a really good point. Swank think, I'm sure foreign nationals will be ecstatic to work with us in the future.
Oh, yeah. Okay. How could you? How could you even consider?
I don't know. But, yeah, things are going well. They're going really well. We're starting to turn racism against minorities to racism against the majority. And that's, of course, that was the goal from the beginning, right? Not to rid ourselves of racism completely. We just wanted to turn it around on the white people so they could experience their share of it. Listen to the reaction. Okay, the big deal was, I don't know, the white population, according to the last census, declined for the first time in American history. So Jimmy Fallon was talking about that. Listen to the reaction from the audience.
Here's the results of the 2020 census just came out, and for the first time in American history, the number of white people went down.
What? Why would you cheer that?
What a racist audience.
Yeah. Yeah, if that was, turn it around. If that was for the first time in a long time, or first time ever, the population of black people went down, and then people cheered, oh my gosh. They'd be hunted down. They would probably turn the cameras around and try to zoom in on the people who did it.
No joke, right?
Yeah, and then they'd be summarily canceled, if not arrested or beaten.
So the percentage of whites in America fell from 63 to 57%.
Wow, that's a big decline,
in
too.
the U.S. Census. Mm-hmm.
In 10 years, it went down 63 to 57? Wow. And people in Fallon's audience cheered. Okay, great. That's great. Thanks. Just when you think the accusations of racism can't get any more absurd, we got this ridiculous headline popping up on Yahoo Sports. Major League Baseball umpires show discrimination against non-white players, according to a new study.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, yeah, because you think it is, because you're white. Mm-hmm. That's right. You read it correctly. Major League umpires are racist.
Oh, no.
And it's based on allegedly erroneous ball and strike calls and which player benefits from the errant call.
This is truly the dumbest study ever, but it's still entertaining.
A new study suggests MLB umpires discriminate against non-white players, according to Hank Snowden, a student at Claremont McKenna.
Oh, a college kid. Oh, this would be good.
The study used balls and strikes data from the past 13 seasons to determine the rate of missed calls against certain players. Snowden determined which should be called strikes and which were called balls.
Snowden did.
Okay, so is he like an expert in balls and strikes?
Yeah, you know Hank Snowden. He's a college kid.
Right.
He's got the.
Oh, is he the one from Claremont McKenna?
That's the guy. That's the guy.
Oh,
now
wow.
You know he's got the bona fides or whatever it's called, right? Because
it used to be called bona fides.
Yeah,
but
now I think we've changed it.
Yeah, bona fides.
Right.
So stupid. Okay, so he determines what should have been a ball, what should have been a strike.
And
then he looks at the race of the umpire.
You're getting it.
The race of the batter. And the race of the pitcher. What Snowden found was that umpires made more advantageous calls when their race was the same as the person receiving the advantage.
Oh, big disparity, right? Big disparity.
So you got a Hispanic umpire and a Hispanic batter. He's going to be
very sympathetic.
Very sympathetic to that
strike
guy.
zone's going to be a lot smaller then. Okay.
You got a white umpire and a white batter. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
White supremacy.
Yes.
The most dangerous thing that we face on earth. Well, in this country. The difference of the alleged racist calls.
Okay, what's is it like 50% of the time? Like, in other words,
yeah, something really egregious.
You're a white supremacist umpire, right? Mm-hmm. And so what? 100% of the time, like it's gonna be right down the middle to the white batter, and you're gonna call it a ball.
So obvious, right? That we had to do a story on this. It's a grand total of the difference of the alleged racist calls. The grand total of 0.3%.
This kid, I swear, he ran the numbers.
0.3%,
and he was upset probably that the numbers weren't like this huge disparity. And he's like, screw it, I put all this time and effort through this project. I'm publishing this anyway. Maybe someone will pick it up. And of course, Yahoo Sports, in their majestic politicizing of everything in this country connected to sports, published it.
His first offering, just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
That's a strike, man.
Ball 4.
No, it's a strike. That's a strike!
Ball 8.
Now, see, if the umpire were black, he would have called those strikes. And the batter was white, they would have been strikes.
Sure. Something.
Or something.
I don't know that we had a batter. Oh, look at that. Oh, there's Obama pitching. I mean, that's
show the Obama one again.
Obama.
Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing.
And he's proud.
Yeah, I nailed it. I bounced it right in front of the plate from about halfway to the plate, and I threw it like a girl, and I nailed it. Okay, thanks, Barack. Also, Mr. Snowden claims to have made the calls himself, of course, which is hard to do, especially if you understand anything about baseball and the strike zone. It's all, I mean, he's got a certain prejudice going into this, right? He was looking to prove something. So you could easily.
So even with his bias.
Yeah,
built
still
in,
0.3%.
0.3%, negligible.
Out of millions of pitches over that amount of time. 0.3%? That's not even worth talking. Even if it's true, that's not worth talking about.
Everything is racist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what makes it worth talking about, because we're in such a
we got to point this stuff out because
stupid era.
It's just that was humorous. I mean, more than anything.
Yeah, insane. Just absolutely insane. Meanwhile, a Kentucky teacher.
Oh gosh.
Has.
She was giving a tour of the school before the first day and
Right.
showing how proud she was of all of her teachers that
put out some flags.
Yeah, look at this, the classrooms.
Okay. Let's see.
I teach in Kentucky, and I am very grateful for my district and my school. And I'm not the only one who has flags up either. This is another classroom.
Oh, rainbow flag.
Another one.
Good. Yeah, another one, and Black Lives Matter. And it's a safe zone for gays, and
Another one.
Black Lives Matter, rainbow flag.
Another one.
Black
Every
Lives,
room.
Rainbow.
Every
rainbow.
freaking.
Oh no! Don't tell me they don't have Black Lives Matter. Yeah, they. Okay, good. Wow, close one.
And my cute little flower one.
Oh, right.
And this is the best one yet.
Oh wow! Look at that.
And it turned out really nice.
Sure did. It sure did.
So inclusive. What has happened to the gay flag, the rainbow thing? It almost looks like a Gmail logo now. I don't know if you can do an ISO on that, Rob, but it just looks like a Gmail logo now instead of like LGBT. What is it?
QQ
plus niner.
A 2 plus.
I don't know if you. Yeah. No, not that one. No, there's another one that's in like most of the rooms. No. Not worth it.
That's not us.
Yeah.
I mean, it is us.
That's
but
us. Hi.
It's not the rainbow flag.
Yeah. But it just looks like a little Gmail logo now. So I wonder if there's going to be.
Is it that one?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rob.
Oh, yeah.
See, I think there's going to be like a lawsuit between the gay community and Google now.
Right. Like Google would ever sue the LGBTQIAA 2 plus people.
Yeah, that's a good point. So there's the rooms
the indoctrination of your kids right there.
There's the rooms your kids are
there it is.
Learning in.
Now, obviously, not every single school in the country is going to have that, but usually the stuff starts to spread.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Right.
That wasn't Manhattan.
I don't know. Again, if I had kids in school, I'd be taking them out all over again. I mean, we were blown away by what was going on in 1990.
Right.
When we started homeschooling. Can you imagine having your kids in public school now?
No, I
can't imagine it.
I was just having this conversation last night with Carrie. I said, "Our kids, like, how are you going to raise a kid in this world? How are they going to raise their kids? Our kids right now, when they have their own children,
Right.
The world is insane enough right now. I cannot imagine. I was just telling you during the break. I can't even see 2024 at this point. Yeah. The world our country is in such chaos. Oh, there we go. See, we're potential terror threats.
Homeschool. Don't swoon and scream with delight every time they hear the name Obama. All right, I fit both of those.
Yeah, guilty.
Let's see the whole list.
This is the Babylon Bee, which is really just a simple distillation of the Homeland Security threat list.
Yeah.
I love this.
So if we could see the list, maybe.
We gave him a thing.
No, there it is.
Ta-da!
No pronouns in your bio. Okay, that's a sign of being a potential terrorist.
We should do a terror score here. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Let me keep track, and we'll just do you, Pat, here. Okay. So you're 1 for 1. Okay.
Married with kids, works a normal job.
Sure.
Yes.
2.
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't like Captain Marvel.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So 3 for 3.
Doesn't like taxes.
Okay.
I don't.
All right.
Finds Kamala Harris slightly off-putting.
5 for 5.
Own a Bible. Yes.
You own a Bible. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here?
Shop at Walmart.
Okay.
I have.
Yes.
And do. Watched YouTube anytime prior to 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't triple mask.
Don't triple mask.
It's definitely one. Wear New Balance? No, I don't.
You don't have New Balance shoes?
I don't.
Okay, so then we're gonna I guess I'll do another one here. Okay.
When you say I hate Trump, they just laugh nervously and say, "Yeah, he's pretty crazy."
That sound about right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I don't want to talk to this.
I don't want to get into
This is a conversation I'm not having. Yes,
right.
Exactly. Because I mean, if you want to really nuance this, we can. But I know you don't.
We don't want that. Invite you to join a militia to invade the Capitol building and take back the government by deadly force to usher in the second golden age of Trump. No.
Okay.
Did not do that, but dislikes The Last Jedi? Absolutely.
Which one was that? Is that the one where he's living up on the hill? Luke
yeah, it's the one where Luke goes to the battle in his mind or whatever Jedi trick they do.
Which is actually in canon.
Yes.
But it's still.
It is.
It's still.
But they ruined Luke in that. They made him a little whiner crybaby.
Well, he was just playing the role of himself, Luke Hamill, on Twitter.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so you've got a score of. Hold on a second. 11 out of 13. My gosh. Can we get DHS on the phone? Corby.
Yeah. I think
call
there's
Homeland
a
Security.
Definite threat sitting in this chair right now.
Yeah, there is. Wow.
It's not funny because eventually they will. They'll come and take us away from
this is the problem 15 years ago that people like you and myself had with the definition of a terrorist when it came to like the Patriot Act and how it was so generically written. My gosh, we could see the writing of the wall a decade and a half ago to lead us to this moment, and here we are.
Here we are. Here we are. Yep. And by the way, the Patriot Act has been used mostly not against terrorists, but something like 98% of the time it's against drug dealers or American citizens in other ways. So it has not turned out to be a positive, as a matter of fact. Now, what is a positive, of course, is segregation in our schools.
I'm sorry?
Apparently there's some segregation in an Atlanta public school now. And that, of course, is desirable today.
Kyla Posey says she was stunned when she learned about classes segregated by race at Mary Lynn Elementary last year. A practice she says was put in place and condoned by Principal Sharon Briscoe.
First, it was just disbelief that I was having this conversation in 2020.
It's a black parent.
A person that looks just like me, a black woman. It's segregating classrooms. You cannot segregate classrooms. You can't do it.
Posey says she found out the school was putting black students in 2 separate classes with 2 separate teachers. The white kids were placed in 6 classes with 6 different teachers. The parent says she found this out when she let Briscoe know she wanted her child placed in the classroom of a teacher she thought would be a good fit. Posey says the principal said that wouldn't work.
She said that that's not one of the black classes, and I immediately said, what does that mean? I was confused. I asked for more clarification. I was like, we have those in the school? And she proceeded to say that, yes, I have decided that I'm going to place all of the black students in 2 classes.
Posey says she insisted her child be placed in a class with white students. She says Briscoe explained her child would be isolated.
And I explained to her she shouldn't be isolated or punished because I'm unwilling to go along with your illegal and unethical practice.
The Posies recorded
good.
a call with an assistant principal where they complained about the segregated classes. The administrator confirmed it was the principal's decision and seemed to offer an explanation why the classes were set up this way.
We have more black kids too, and then some of them are in a class because of the services that they need.
Kyla Posey has filed this discrimination complaint with the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. Her attorney, Sharice Shields, says what's going on at Mary Lynn is a violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 say that you cannot treat one group of people differently based upon race, and that is what is going on at Mary Lynn.
That is just incredible. How can they think this is okay? That's a principal of a school. She's had some education. She knows there are laws against segregation like this. And yet she just did it anyway. Yeah, I've decided that we're going to have black classes and white classes. Why? Still didn't really, because, I guess some of them need services?
That was weird.
Like what kind of service?
Weird response.
What kind of service do the kids get when they're only in a class with blacks as opposed to like an integrated classroom? That is some weird stuff. And how do you break the law like that? And it's seemingly just fine. One parent complained. One, at least that we know of.
Right.
And certainly if there were others, they would have interviewed him, right?
Right. And part of you thinks that, oh my gosh, only one parent complained. But at the same time, it shows you, look who they're doing the news story with.
Yeah.
The mom with common sense that doesn't want racism in her child's school.
What a racist.
Right?
That she doesn't want racism in the class.
Oh my gosh.
What a racist.
What a sellout.
She's not really black.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You're not black enough.
888-900-3393. Great to have you with us. Got some tweets here from Pickapool. Joe Biden empathetic? Well, if you leave off that first syllable, you're spot on. Well, that would leave it at pathetic.
Yeah, I think that was the point of Pickapool's tweet there.
Really?
Yeah.
Old Buck stopping Biden? We literally left the Taliban stronger after 20 years of war against them.
So depressing.
Pew pew, one pew. Biden is giving China everything they want. After all, you have to take care of your son's art investors, right? Jeffy's 18 Spoons. Keith touched on something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I am terrified of how it will be for my kids when they raise their own kids. Even the one who fully participates in the LGBTQIA2+ nonsense. Yeah.
What kind of a world are we creating for them? Or are we allowing to be created, I should say?
Yeah. A crazy one. One that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. One where you can't even believe your own eyes. Ears. Any of your senses, for that matter. Jay Cutler, who's retired from the NFL, and he has embraced a new position. He's the man of the people, apparently. The unapologetic former quarterback, lauded for his strong arm and remarkable dude energy, announced that he's been pulled from an Uber NFL promotional campaign after voicing his opinions on school board's strict mask mandates on children. Cutler has quoted videos of passionate parents, including Outkicker founder Clay Travis's grilling of the Williamson County Board on Tuesday, fighting for their children's rights to forego masks and additional PPE in the classroom setting, all based on the CDC data that supports children's safety from serious COVID effects. Sure. So Cutler is pissed off that they're having to wear masks, and he's not behind it. So Uber apparently dropped him.
Yeah.
And fortunately, he doesn't care about Uber's opinions, apparently. Adding future school board member to his Twitter bio. Lost a commercial with Uber Eats partnering with the NFL, was going to film in L.A. Views aren't aligned. So his views aren't aligned with Uber's. Guess they don't like future school board members. Frees up my weekend.
Yeah. I like it.
He's probably made enough money in his career that you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Oh, no, I'm not going to get the $50,000 for the Uber shoot. Okay. All righty.
Right.
And you move on. So good for him. He seemed like kind of an arrogant, sort of douchey guy when he was quarterback.
Right.
But he's been pretty solid of late, it seems.
And we need people with that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Defending the rights of kids to breathe freely in America.
No question.
I appreciate that.
How would you like to go through? Well, we're going right back to when we were in the midst of this thing a year ago, or a little bit more than that.
Yeah, it's because the kids
we're
are
right
the ones
back in it.
Who are affected the most, right? They're the ones that can catch this disease, this virus, and it's just ripping right through the
kills them dead almost every time.
You just can't take chances with the kids.
Except for the opposite is, of course, true on that. But I noticed with one of my doctors, they called me yesterday because I have an appointment today, and they said, don't come into the office. We're going to do a video conference call. Oh, well, okay. Actually, I kind of prefer that, but that's what they were doing last year during the height of this. And so now they're going back to it. They're going back to it.
Have I ever told you about the time I went to the doctor and we did the same kind of thing? Dude was in the next room over, just sitting in his office talking to me through the screen.
That's asinine.
Stop it, please. But then he came in after the conversation. Then he came in to talk to me more. It made no sense, dear God. This world, I
really
can't
doesn't.
take it. I can't take it. I
This
cannot.
is just about optics. It's not about safety.
Exactly.
Who was the optics not safety person? I don't remember who said that. Who did that one? Corby?
Somebody under Psaki when she was out.
Oh, okay. All right. So it was one of the Biden spokespeople, deputy press secretary or something.
Anyhow, the world is insane.
Yes. Yes, it is. Over the weekend, our own Steve Deist tweeted out, there are 74.2 million minors in America, according to the last census. That means an American minor has 0.00047% odds of a COVID-involved death. Well, so you're saying there's a chance.
Saying there's a chance, Steve.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. There's a chance.
Oh, then he gets some other cute little fact. He likes playing with numbers, this Steve Deist.
Yesterday, NASA announced the asteroid Bennu has a 0.58% chance of striking the Earth for an extinction level event by 2300. There's a better chance of the world being destroyed by an asteroid.
By 12,000 something percent, I think it is. I scribbled out there.
Than for a child dying of COVID.
Right.
Yeah,
there you go. Okay, he wrote it up there.
12,240% chance. My gosh. That's incredible.
So there you go.
That's a great tweet, Steve.
That is great. I love the numbers.
Tweet.
I love it when someone does the math for me, too.
Yeah, because
I do appreciate that.
Not doing that. So.
I'm totally not doing that. And if I do it, I'm doing it wrong. So a 12,240% greater chance that a meteor
will destroy
life
all
on
life
the planet
on the planet
than a child dies of COVID in America.
That's amazing. How amazing is that? Jeez.
But yet our policies in our schools in these progressive towns are mask up, kids. We're ruining. We are ruining a generation of Americans. The numbers are even. The numbers don't lie. I mean, look at the IQ of the children that have been born during this pandemic alone. They can't even see. They can't see. The facial expressions and learn how to speak properly. It is devastating. Check it out. There's a couple stories deep there. The IQ thing, the IQ of children during the pandemic, it's absolutely atrocious.
When it comes to children who were left behind during the pandemic lockdowns, it wasn't just school-age children who were affected. Instead, a new study found that the IQ for kids born during the pandemic is down roughly 22 points. In the decade preceding the pandemic, the mean IQ score on standardized tests for children aged between 3 months and 3 years of age hovered around 100. But for children born during the pandemic, that number tumbled to 78. Wow.
Gross.
Now, this is from analysis that's yet to be peer-reviewed. So don't panic yet.
Okay, so we don't panic yet. You remember how a year and a half ago you and I were sitting here and so many others were saying, we are going to do more harm to our society than the virus is with our mandates and our policies and the masks and the all this lockdown, all this insanity. I mean, we saw this coming. Come on.
For a frame of reference, the IQ threshold for people with intellectual disabilities is between 70 and 75 points. They're scoring 78. Jeez. That's amazing. We find that children born during the pandemic have significantly reduced verbal, motor, and overall cognitive performance compared to children born pre-pandemic. That's
depressing.
Really something.
Depressing.
Is there anything else that can go wrong? And, of course, the answer is yes.
Yeah, please, careful.
Yes, and it will. And your mask may be giving you COVID eyes. So you don't have Betty Davis eyes. You got COVID eyes. COVID-19 eyes.
Oh, he's like, guys, this is real time.
Yeah,
Pat is working on a parody as we speak.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, COVID eyes.
Now that mask wearing has become a part of our everyday life, we're starting to see a few medical conditions associated with them. First, it was mask acne. Now doctors are seeing an increase in a condition called calzone. It's a buildup of bacteria along the lash line that can cause painful cysts.
Look at that. That's nasty. Get that off the screen, Robert.
Yeah, I got it. Dr. Leslie Norris with Grand Rapids Ophthalmology says they're seeing an increase in cases in Western Michigan. In addition to good facial hygiene, Dr. Norris says many eye doctors are also recommending that patients use mouthwash. That cuts down on bacteria in our mouth.
So rinse your mouth out to keep your eyes clean. Again.
Yeah, but of course, this is a lie because Dr. Fauci told us there were absolutely no bad effects from wearing a mask.
What?
You remember that?
Did he really?
Yeah, there's no deleterious effect from wearing a mask. Oh, well, that doesn't seem to be true either, like every other freaking lie you've ever told us.
So let's use brain cells before we post things on the internet. Thanks.
You're welcome. Meanwhile, somebody took this video at a Delta Airlines counter, the agent refusing to help the travelers until their toddler was wearing a mask.
Oh,
stupid.
You should be ashamed of yourself, the mom says. Absolutely.
We're bringing everybody else into it. Come here, Kenny.
I'm with the kid, man. No.
Right.
No.
I mean, that's ludicrous.
We're destroying our children. Destroying them through public policy and mandates. I'm with him.
That's how I am when I'm putting on my mask.
Love it.
In fact, that kid's a little more calm than I am.
Because think about this. Think about when society wasn't going through the COVID insanities that we deal with, okay? A year and a half ago. We were already destroying our kids. Now we have just put layer upon layer upon layer on top of the earlier insanities. These poor children today. God bless them. Hold them close and teach them because this world. Oh, boy. Good times.
Good times. The Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine.
Oh, no, don't
I didn't
do
know
this.
there was an Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine. Did you know
Do
that?
they have an award show? Is it on pay-per-view?
Every February. They've issued guidelines that suggest employing such terms as...
No, don't do it.
Chest feeding, human milk feeding, and parents' milk to promote what it calls gender-inclusive language. So...
Point of personal privilege.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. The ABM, the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine.
Yeah.
Their position statement on infant feeding and lactation-related language and gender, co-authored by 8 doctors and the Academy.
Take their license.
Said that the use of desexed or gender-inclusive language is appropriate in many settings. I don't know why it would be, because...
Because it's not
Men
a real
can't
thing.
do any of those
It's
things?
not a thing.
It's not a thing. It is not a thing. If you're a man, look, here's the thing. Even if you are a man who thinks he can do these things, don't you consider yourself a woman? So why do I have to include men in this? Because if you're a man, you know you can't do these things, right? Now, if you're a trans woman, you used to be a man, but now you're a woman. Then you believe you're a woman. So why would I care about this language? This just doesn't make any sense even on their level. ABM, the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine. Recognizes that not all people who give birth and lactate identify as female.
Help.
Okay, so because we're talking about, okay, I get it then. The female who's transitioned to male, they can still, in some cases,
so they don't
breastfeed, but they're not, they're not men.
Chest feeding.
Yeah. And that some of these individuals identify as neither female nor male. Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine suggests chest feeding, father's milk.
Wait. No. Not a thing.
Let's see. So that obviously chest feeding replaces breastfeeding. Then there's lactating, expressing, pumping, human milk feeding. Alternates for breast milk include milk, human milk,
expressing,
mother's own milk, parents' milk, and father's milk.
Parents' milk.
I'm going to tell you, the father doesn't have any milk. Okay, there's no need for doing this. So stupid. These are supposed to be doctors, scientists.
Those are 8 doctors that need to lose their license.
People of fact and biology. They're supposed to be people who understand science. Well, but it's Republicans, right? It's conservatives who are science deniers. Shut up. I don't ever want to hear that again.
Just gut check. Stop.
Yeah, I don't ever want to hear that again. Let me tell you about Tommy John. This is something that you can relate to, something that does make sense. Apollo is Tommy John's newest and most advanced men's underwear yet. Performance grade dry release fabric blend that's exclusive to Tommy John. It's Tommy John's latest comfort innovation, and you can't get it anywhere else. Apollo men's underwear is proven to keep you drier and up to 7 degrees cooler than regular cotton underwear. So comfortable, so great. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. That's really true. Apollo underwear is soft, supportive, stretches for the perfect fit every day, and it's available in sizes up to 4XL. Wow, I wonder if that would fit Jeffy. You think that's high enough for Jeffy?
I don't know. Tommy John, send us a couple of 4XLs and we'll try it out for you and get back.
With over 15 million pairs sold, men across America love Tommy John underwear because there's no more flopping, sticking, or chafing. I love it. And don't forget their loungewear, too, which I wear all the time. It's really become a part of my body, almost. And like all Tommy John underwear, Apollo comes with the best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free guarantee. Right now, get 20% off your first order at TommyJohn.com/unleashed. Go to TommyJohn.com/unleashed and get all the details.
What number do people call to get on the air? Do we have that number?
Why, yes, there is a phone number you can call. 888-900-3393. It's Pat Gray Unleashed on the Blaze.
That's interesting.
Just a quick note here from Afghanistan.
Oh, what do you got?
The Taliban is now seizing personal weapons from their citizens because Afghans can now feel safe.
That's a quote from them?
That's the quote.
Afghans
can now feel safe.
So you don't need weapons.
No longer need a weapon.
We're protecting you.
Yeah. Huh. So there you go. Now you can feel safe. Now that the Taliban is in charge.
It's amazing. That's one of their first official acts.
I'm sure that will really comfort the Afghans. Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Now we can feel safe. Because you guys are here, the ones who cut people's heads off for leaving the house without their husband. That kind of thing. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Yeah, I feel pretty safe. Yeah. That's like the British before the Revolutionary War trying to confiscate Americans' weapons. Because now, we're here. Now we're occupying your land. You can feel safe. Yeah, no thank you. No thank you.
That's what started it.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it's to prepare for or to fight against.
And they know this, which is why.
And they know it, which is why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because this thing's not over for the poor Afghans. They've got a long way to go. All right, things not looking good in Australia. Like Melbourne, here's what the scene looks like in Melbourne, Australia right now.
Social distancing between places.
Oh, yeah. So hold on a second. Can you pause this for a second? So what's happening is people want to protest in Australia all of the incredible
the lockdowns and the measures they're going through.
Yeah. And so this guy for Rebel News shows up to see the police presence. The police are preventing this protest from happening. And in the process, he's pointing out how social distance they are.
Yeah.
This is how they come in formation. This is how they spread around the city to enforce COVID restrictions. See you later, mate. So Victoria Police have managed tonight to pretty much quash dissent in Melbourne CBD. Just look around. Hundreds of police gathering to shut down a small group of protesters who dare criticise the government for locking down our city for 18 months. That's the reality here in Melbourne tonight. This is our 6th lockdown, which was supposed to be only snap for 7 days, and today it turned into at least 2 weeks.
15 days to flatten the curve comes to mind.
We heard the same thing. We heard the same exact thing. Now, just, hey, bear with us for 15 days.
We get
just
15 days, right?
flatten that curve. Yeah, we can do anything for 15 days. And then when it stretches out past Easter and then Memorial Day.
Sure.
4th of July.
Wait, which 4th of July are you talking about?
And the last year, 4th of
last
July.
4th of July. Yeah,
and then,
we can do that.
And then Labor Day.
So we can do that, dude.
All right. After Labor Day, just make it to Halloween.
So, okay. Can I travel for holidays?
Thanksgiving. Just make it through Thanksgiving.
So I can't
Don't
go
have
see
Thanksgiving dinner with your family. Not this year.
How about Christmas?
But just, maybe by Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not Christmas.
The heck?
No.
But it's a new year. Okay?
Yeah. Now it's a new year.
All right, cool. So now we're free again?
So, no, if we can just wait till after Valentine's Day, when it will be fine.
After Valentine's Day?
Oh, yeah, and then after, let's get through the inauguration.
Yeah.
And the State of the Union address. And then, and then Easter. Let's get through Easter.
Wait, which Easter are we talking about
And then if we
now?
can get through Easter, then maybe by the 4th of July, you can have a picnic with a couple of your friends in the backyard.
Okay, wait, with a couple of my... Okay, so...
No.
So now, how about... Am I free now?
Not... Just a little while longer.
Just a
If
little...
you can just give me till Labor Day-ish, then...
Wait, which Labor... Now I'm confused. Which Labor Day are we talking about? Which, by the way, you notice the very first day that Biden was in office, they came up with that federal building mandate for masks. I mean, it's just, oh, crap. We're in power now, so... And so have they altered the masks on plane thing? I know like September 13th was the deadline for that. Has the FAA done anything differently?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. How long is this other Australian thing that's getting more and more insane there? Do we have time to play that before
which guy? The cop? No, we don't. You know what, though? Do the next one. The Australia implements clip 14. Watch this.
So $5,000 for on-the-spot breach of home quarantine.
Okay.
$5,000 on the spot for lying on a permit. $5,000 on the spot fine for lying to a contact tracer. $3,000 on the spot fine for breaching the two-person exercise rules. $3,000 on the spot fine for breaching rules.
You mean I'm supposed to give you $3,000 on the spot right then and there?
If you're exercising with more than one other person,
then I have to give you $5,000 or $3,000,
or else we're not going to let you
there.
Go back into your house. I don't understand. I mean, this
wow.
Western society is in free fall right now.
Wow.
And this isn't just isolated. And maybe we'll have time later in the program. This isn't just isolated Australia. This is now in New York, too. De Blasio was threatening fines for forging vaccine papers or whatever yesterday. I mean, shut up.
Yeah.
Get out my face.
And what's interesting is it doesn't seem to be that big a problem in Australia right now.
Oh, no.
I don't think they've even got the kind of outbreak we do.
No, not even close. It's a world gone mad, and it's not about your health. It's never been.
It's about control.
Yeah.
It's about control. All right, we're going to talk to Jeff Deist, who is a historian and an expert on Calvin Coolidge. We wanted to talk about when was the last really great president? Might have been Calvin Coolidge. We'll talk about him next.
Pat Gray.
888-900-3393. Great to have you with us. We were talking a couple of weeks ago about, I don't know, when was the last time we had a great president? I mean, Trump did some really good things. And before him,
Reagan did some
good things. But the last, to me, truly great president was probably Calvin Coolidge. To me, he is, I don't know, definitely top 5. Maybe even top 3. Is he your favorite?
He's my favorite,
president?
far and away. Yeah.
It's Keith's favorite president. Keith's been talking about Calvin Coolidge for a long time. So we thought we'd get somebody on who could discuss Calvin Coolidge and remind us about some of the things that we're missing, especially today in light of everything that's going on. Jeff Deist joins us from the Mises Institute. Jeff, welcome to The Blaze.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I have to say he's probably historians' least favorite president.
I know.
We all know why.
I know. He is so underrated and undervalued. Why is that?
Well, it's very simple because historians tend to run progressive, and progressives love this idea of a transformational president. And so this guy, who is an absolutely unheralded genius, gets stuck between two progressive icons, namely, obviously, FDR and Woodrow Wilson.
Right.
So God forbid we should have a decade of relative peace and prosperity without any great new deals or transformations. And so they hate this stuff. They want presidents to come in and act as basically kings and show us the way the world should be, rather than referees who are sort of over to the side making sure that America works right.
I mean, you could trace it back to his time as governor in Massachusetts, and even before that. I mean, the guy did great things while he was in whatever office he held. But to me, the start of his greatness was kind of in his vice president's role, when he and Harding got America out of the Depression of 1920. Did they not cut the federal budget by 50% in 2 years?
Absolutely remarkable. I mean, these numbers are laughable today.
Yeah,
We're talking about a federal budget of $5-6 billion. I mean, that's a sneeze over at the Pentagon or someplace today.
That's for sure.
But literally, I mean, we see the federal budget throughout the decade of the 20s go from about $6 billion down to below $3 billion.
It's amazing. That's amazing.
In the course of a decade. Now, I'm talking outlays.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, if you pan forward a little bit and you look at World War II, as we entered that war, we had about a $9 billion budget. And at the height of that in the 40s, we were up to about 90.
Wow.
So we had 10 times the growth. And then, of course, it scaled back after World War II, God bless them. But it didn't scale back to 9. It scaled back to about 30. So this is a remarkable... The 20s is a remarkable decade in America, and we ought to be studying it more.
Yeah, we went from the Depression of 1920 to what was referred to as the Roaring 20s. And for some reason, people seem to look back with a negative viewpoint on the Roaring 20s.
Well, first of all, this guy, I mean, constitutionally, in his personality, Calvin Coolidge just isn't an activist. Yeah. I mean, he didn't want to run the world. He was renowned for sleeping 12 hours a day.
Really?
Which is a beautiful thing in a president. God help us. Step back.
Yeah.
But more importantly, he used to be, I'm not sure today we could have a president who is as silent or as, I guess, taciturn is the word, Some people think that the 1960 Nixon versus Kennedy debate, which was the first televised one, forever put us into this era of, telegenic or, type A presidents. And so could a guy like Calvin Coolidge get elected today? I think the answer is probably no.
No, right.
But his instinct, his sense was to not do something rather than do something. And he had the courage to say, business isn't this thing that's outside of society or business is a part of America. Business is a big part of America. That's what makes America this sort of happy, prosperous place. And rather than demonizing it, why don't we look at it as something the government ought to foster? And, he had dealt with the Spanish flu in Massachusetts. He had argued against the League of Nations. This was a humble guy. And humility, man, oh man, and it's our fault. In many ways, we want presidents today to be these omniscient people who can who know everything about healthcare in Afghanistan, and they know what's right for Anchorage, Alaska, and Miami, Florida, and it's absurd.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that Calvin Coolidge would not have a Twitter account if he were around today.
He wouldn't use it much if he did.
Can I just ask a quick question, Jeff? One of the last things that Calvin Coolidge said, it was after FDR was elected, and he told a friend that he quote, "I feel I no longer fit in with these times." My gosh, if he thought that about like the impending FDR era, how would he react to what's going on in this country today?
Yeah, he said that, I believe, in 33. And that's, this is, I think every elderly generation starts to feel this, but the pace of change is accelerating. There's no question about it. And this was a guy who, really viewed money and debt so differently than FDR. This was a guy who came out openly and said, inflation is repudiation. Meaning that's literally a default by the U.S. government on its promise to savers, to old people, to holders of dollars in foreign governments, wherever they might be. And that's something else. The Federalist, if you guys know the Federalist website, they found a speech from Coolidge in the 1920s, which was just absolutely remarkable in terms of its humility and talking about how we ought to be a humble nation. We ought not to tell the rest of the world how to live their life. We ought to recognize that the rest of the world might have view things differently than us. And as I'm reading this or rereading this, I'm just thinking of Afghanistan and the 20 years we've been there. And I was thinking, my God, if we had had a little more foresight and a little less hubris, we might have a lot fewer problems over there.
Yeah, no question about it. Definitely a humble man. And isn't that in part why he didn't run for another term in 28? Was that? Yeah, in 1928, he decided, and he probably would have won another term, but he decided he didn't want to be a king, and he thought that was going to be spending a little too much time in office.
Well, he'd had that sort of partial term after Harding died suddenly.
Right.
So there was that. But
so
also,
it was about 6 years, right, that he was president?
Yeah, but also, during his time in the White House, his son Calvin died, and it was a very
really weird way
psychologically. He was playing lawn tennis at the White House, visiting, stubbed his toe, had a growth on it, and back then, of course, this was simple staph infection. We didn't have penicillin, and when staph gets into your blood, it turns into sepsis, and so a week later. His 16-year-old was dead, and I don't think anybody ever really recovers from that psychologically.
No, and he certainly didn't.
So, I mean, this is a guy who was so quiet, the opposite of vain. And I like Trump. I'll be honest about that. But you look at Trump and you look at Biden. My God, who is this guy? Sort of robotically bumbling around into bushes and stuff. And I look at that and I think if that's the international avatar for the United States of America, you know what? In 22 or in 24, any candidate, I mean, we're beyond ideology, folks. Any candidate who just projects some degree of competence and some degree of optimism that America could be a place where people own stuff and have a house and maybe have a business and have some stocks, just this malaise. I mean, the Vietnam 2.0. Anybody who can project some kind of positive image or positive program for America, I think, is going to be giving Biden some trouble.
Yeah. How do you think he would handle the Afghanistan situation?
Well, you have to understand, these are people who are war weary. World War I was rough stuff for the United States. And let's not forget, something like 60% of Americans had at least some degree of German ancestry. This was not a popular war. This was kind of first cousins in some ways at the outset. And then Woodrow Wilson managed to sell that war. The first time ever that a war was fought, at least by the United States, ideologically, to make the world safe for democracy, not over turf.
Right.
We weren't trying to annex France and Germany. So that was a very, very tough time for America. And I think the 20s were ripe for people to be home, to feel like they're focused on business and their families and having a little bit of fun. And so, that was a mass mobilization, a mass effort in the United States. Unfortunately, when we look at Afghanistan, that's affected so few of us directly. We haven't been invested. This isn't even like Vietnam, where half the kids on your street were over there. This has been something where we have this sort of mercenary military that's over there dealing with it, and we kind of forget about it. And now, of course, everyone's mouthing off on Facebook about Afghanistan. And so it never felt like we were all invested in it. It felt like something far away. And, of course, they finance all this stuff with debt, so we don't feel it directly. They don't assess us all an additional $500 a month in taxes, because we all agree we got to fight in Afghanistan. So it's just such a different America. I mean,
really is.
It wasn't until after World War II that we really felt, I think, like a superpower.
So, as a Mises Institute historian, where would Jeff Deist place Calvin Coolidge on the pantheon of American presidents?
Boy, it's in terms of modern presidents, absolutely number one.
Yeah.
And I would consider modern meaning after.
So after the founding fathers.
Yeah. So I would make him number one. And this is a guy who is grappling with an America, that's growing and changing. And just the idea that the federal government ought to be a minor, reticent player in the story of America has been so utterly lost since then. That I wish someone could tell that story. Amity Schlaze is a great historian. She runs the Calvin Coolidge Foundation up in Vermont. And she honestly thinks that there's another Coolidge out there. And I hope...
Really?
I hope she's right.
Me too.
Does she have a name?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is social media forces these people, I think, into uncomfortable roles. I mean...
Yeah, very true.
Like a Ted Cruz. He apparently a brilliant guy at Harvard Law.
Yeah.
By all accounts, a brilliant law student, but yet the world we're in forces this celebrity status on politicians, and I think it's up to us, I guess, to reward one of them with the courage not to be a celebrity.
All right, Jeff, appreciate it. Fascinating stuff. If people wanted to read and see more, where would they go? Mises.org?
Yeah, just go to Mises.org, MISES.org, or follow me on Twitter at Jeff Deist.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jeff.
And thank you. I think it's just beautiful historic poetry that Calvin Coolidge's birthday is July 4th.
Yeah, that's great.
How cool is that? Huh?
Awesome. Let me tell you about Rough Greens. We've been talking about Rough Greens for quite a while now. This is a powder that you sprinkle over your dog's food to, give it some nutrition, because all the nutritional value is seared out of the dry kibble dog food that your dogs eat. In the baking process, they cook it all out because it has to be sterilized so that it lasts up to 3 years on the store shelf. So you need rough greens to put back the vitamins and minerals and the probiotics and the omega oils that help keep your dog healthy and active. Plus, they love this stuff. Again, my dog wouldn't even eat the food without the rough greens on top of it. Now, will your dog be that way? I don't know, but you can certainly try it out with a free bag of rough greens for your dog. They'll send you just a small little bag that you can try out, see if they like it. If they do, you can jump in with both feet and buy more. All you have to pay initially is for the shipping. Just go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFF, greens.com. Roughgreens.com or call 833-ROUGH-DOG.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
It's just such a different world now that it's hard to even imagine somebody like Calvin Coolidge being president of the United States. He wouldn't get elected. He just wouldn't be elected.
Like, is there an office that he would get elected to?
I don't think so. I don't think he could be elected local mayor,
even
councilman, nothing.
And that says a lot about our society more than anything.
Yeah.
Not so much about him, but just, boy, have we in less than a century.
Well, like I mentioned, he cut the budget in half.
Yeah.
We can't cut it 1% now.
The cool thing about that is that he would sit around, I think, every week or two with his budget official, and they would have lunch together and go through line by line.
You know what it's like? Have you ever watched the movie Dave?
Yeah, he's the president.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it?
The president dies, and the guy who impersonated him all the time is put in because they don't want him to know. And so Dave brings his really good friend who's good at numbers.
Right.
Brings him into the Oval Office and they work on the deficit.
Yeah, but he was so...
It's like that.
Right. He was so precise that he was saying how, Calvin Coolidge, why are we wasting money on ink on the U.S. mail carriers' mail delivery bags? That's why they're this bland canvas thing, is because he saw a chance to save a nickel or two for the American taxpayer. The man was incredible.
Yeah, he was
so good.
He just was. And unemployment went from 11.7% down to 2% or something over the 2 years that he and Harding were in office. I mean, just some amazing, amazing feats pulled off. And again, there was a depression that was worse than the Depression of 29 in 1920. But because of what Calvin Coolidge did and what Warren Harding did,
it was quick.
We got out of it in about a year.
Yep.
Instead of 12 years and a world war to pull us out. So really exceptional. Just an incredible presidency. And people hate him now.
Yeah.
They hate him.
Well, yeah, if they even pay attention to him at all. But teach your kids. Teach your kids because we did have great Americans in the past. In fact, do what I did. Read the book Coolidge by Amity Shlaes with your kids. Have them learn who he was. And they will see that, oh my gosh, it is possible to have a great leader that also cuts the budget at the same time.
I didn't realize that Amity believed that there's a Calvin Coolidge out there somewhere. That would be...
I'd like to... We should talk to her.
We should talk to her.
And find out. Okay, give us names.
Who is this guy? Who is this person?
Let's go protect this person right now.
And I wonder if she thinks it's Ted Cruz, because that's who Jeff brought up. I wonder if she's mentioned Ted Cruz as the potential Calvin Coolidge. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. There's a couple that is going to require proof of vaccination for their 100 guests at their upcoming wedding. Okay. Allie Messmer and Kevin Field were engaged in the spring of 2019 with the wedding set for fall 2020 when the pandemic first hit everything. Their plans were ready to go, and then the plug was pulled in late July and early August. Ali will now walk down the aisle a year later, this October in Minneapolis, navigating still more left turns. We want to ensure that our wedding is fun but also safe, the couple says. They've updated their website to show their wedding will be a fully vaccinated only event. 100 guests will have to show proof for entry. They believe the majority of their friends and family already have the shot, so shouldn't be a problem.
And there are people listening to this show right now who can identify with their own family people that they know that aren't going to show up because it's not you're not vaccinated. Okay, well
I'm not going there.
Or you can't come to my house unless you're fully vaccinated. I mean, this is such a thing now. Stop it. Especially when you no. What was the thing this morning? What was it? All 27 people who tested positive on a recent cruise were fully vaccinated.
Yeah, because don't you have to be vaccinated to get on the cruise?
I'm sorry. They tested positive for COVID. Were fully vaccinated. Yeah, so I guess So
I think
that would make sense that everybody would. But man, I thought it was the unvaccinated that was just keeping us down, keeping us from being able to enjoy life again.
On one cruise, 27 people are infected.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's a lot of vaccinated people. That's got to be a pretty high percentage. I don't know. What are they? Maybe they had 3,000 on the cruise, but still, 27 people on one cruise. That sucks. That is not a good percentage. I don't think I'd be happy with that.
But you remember, mask or vax, said Joe Biden, in quote.
Right, and now it's masked and vaxxed.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Or how about neither? Thanks. I'm going to live my life.
What must be worked? What must be worked?
There he is.
What must be worked?
There's our commander-in-chief.
My back's been worked. My back's been worked. My back's been worked. My back's been worked.
There he goes with his outside voice again.
Jeez. What a world.
What a
world. Batman sidekick Robin has come out as bisexual.
I think the greatest comment on this, somebody said, I can't believe this. I refuse to believe that Robin has sex with women.
It's cute.
That's awesome.
That's funny. See what they did there? The latest teenage iteration of Batman sidekick Robin has been revealed as bisexual in an upcoming comic. They love to do this now.
Yep.
Tim Drake, the name of the character. What happened to, I thought it was Burt Ward. Wasn't that his name? Tim Drake is the name of the character in this particular Robin, who doubles as Robin in the newest Batman Urban Legends installment. Describes the incident when he learned of his feelings toward some guy named Bernard Dowd as a light bulb moment. The story goes, Robin had a light bulb moment while fighting side by side with Bernard. How many times has this happened to you?
Well, look, it's
when you're fighting side by side with some guy and you realize, hey, I'm pretty attracted to him.
In spandex.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's the weakness, I guess.
After coming to his rescue as Robin, Tim later hits up Bernard's pad. And you can see the anticipation building because he hypes himself up saying, it's okay, Tim, you got this.
Oh, no, gosh.
When Bernard opens the door, he's on the verge of asking out Tim on a date. But Tim interrupts with, I'm really glad you got home okay. I was relieved. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about that night. And I don't know what it meant to me, not yet, but I'd like to figure it out.
What is
And
no?
then, yeah, that's right, baby. And then Bernard asks him out, and the two agree to hook up on a date.
Want to see my grappling hook collection?
My utility belt?
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Are we going to wear the blindfolds?
That's right, Mama.
Help us.
So stupid. I'm so tired of it.
I know. Why do they have to sexualize everything?
Everything from Harry Potter, you got to sexualize that by saying after the fact that, and by the way, Dumbledore was gay. Okay. No, shut up. And now Robin is gay or bi or whatever.
It's bi.
Really? They're pretend. Okay, so they're not.
Honestly,
okay?
They're nothing.
They're nothing. They didn't really do that. We're just trying to make a political statement now and trying to be politically correct. So stop it. Gut check, full stop on that. All right. 888-900-3393. Use that number tomorrow. See you then.
Good world.
Here on Pat Gray Unleashed.
Fun world.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.